So here is how exactly you can split test your email campaign so that you can get more money without losing hundreds and hundreds of hours going through the trial and errors. And this works for you even if you're a complete beginner. So we're going to deal with 4 clear things: your offer, your subject line, your content, and the delay. And by delay, I mean the timing, right? So first thing is first, why exactly does split testing even matter, right? So every email you send without split testing is a bet that you are placing without knowing exactly what won and what made the email lost. So if you won, you will not know why if you're not split testing. And that means you cannot do it again on purpose if you're running an offer because you do not know exactly what works. So split testing fixes exactly that. And if you do not know exactly what split testing is, some people also call it A/B testing, which means sending 2 slight different versions of an email to 2 small groups of your list and then seeing which one wins before you send the email that won to everyone in the email list, right? So with that said and done, there are 4 high impact things that you should test so that you can get more conversions and understand exactly what works. And the 4 things are the offer, the subject line, the content, and the delay. Okay, these things work together. In fact, you should follow the same order, right? You should start by testing your offer and then test your subject line, and then after that test the content of the email, right? And then test the timing. And right now you might be asking me, why exactly should you follow this exact order from the offer, the subject line, the content, and then the delay? The reason is simple. If you start by testing your content without knowing if your offer works, then you might lose a lot of time testing what does not work, because if your offer is bad, nothing is going to work. Even if you test your content, even if you test the subject line, nothing is going to work. So the first thing is that you have to test your offer. You have to find out if your offer works and if your offer is good. And after you know that, then you can go ahead and start split testing the subject line, because if nobody opens the email, then no one is going to see the offer, right? So we have to split test the subject line so that we can get more opens and know exactly what works for the audience, right? So what are we going to split test in the subject line? We're going to split test curiosity and direct benefits. So we're going to target them with direct benefit or curiosity subject lines, which are, for curiosity, it can be like, you are doing this wrong, maybe calling, you are doing this wrong, maybe in content and stuff like that. Vice, the direct benefit is how I made 5K from one email within 24 hours. And then we're going to also split test short and long subject lines so that we can know exactly which one gets the more open rate. Now, of course, sometimes, like from my experience, short subject lines work better, but we do not know until we see the data, right? So we have to split test it. What you have to avoid on subject lines is don't use clickbaity subject lines. When you clickbait, people will lose trust in you and people will not be opening your emails forever. The other thing is don't use all caps subject lines, right? Like most people will see that as spammy and people do not want to be spammed, right? So don't do that. Now, what you have to go split test now so that you can get more conversion, you can get more sales to your offers, is you have to split test the body of the email, which is your content. Now, this is where you convince, you connect, and you convert both your audiences, right? Now, here you're going to split test the different angles, use different formats and story types emails to see which one gets more clicks. So the first thing you can do is split test between story-based emails, or you can use bullet points types of emails, which is like, here's exactly how you can do this in 3 steps, here's exactly a 3-minute hack on doing this and this and that, right? Another thing is long emails versus short emails. And the other thing is emotional angles, like the formats, and logical angles. Now, we all know that emotional angles win over logical angles, but we also have to split test that so that we can also see what exactly works. I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to run this split test. So stick with me. Down to the first thing that we are going to test, the timing. When do you send the email? Is it on Monday? Is it on Tuesday? Is it on Wednesday? Which time of the day are you going to send the emails? Is it morning, the afternoon, or the night? So the things that you can split test in timing is morning sends, evening sends, afternoon sends, and the other thing can be during the week, right? When? Is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday? When do people open your email most? Now, going down to the real process on how to actually run a split test, okay? The first thing is that you do not need any fancy tools or any technical skills. Instead, here is a simple, repeatable process that you can use every time you send or split test. The first thing is pick one thing to test, okay? This is the most important rule. You should not use different variables. Don't pick the subject line and the content at the same time because you won't know what worked. Again, the second thing is create version A and version B. Now, this is just normal, okay? Version A is the original of what you're testing. Maybe if you're testing subject line, you create the version A of the subject line and the version B of the subject line, okay? The third thing is splitting your list. Now, how do you split your list? If you have 1,000 people on your list, you send version A to 200 people, which is 20% of your list, and then you send version B to another 20% of that list, which is another 200 people. And the remaining number of people, which is 60%, which is 600, because 400 already they're in the split test, we're going to run them the version of the email that wins. Now, after that, you need just to check your numbers, see what won. Open rates tell you if your subject line worked. The click-through rate tells you if your content or the body of the email worked, right? Because it helped you get the click. And then for the offer is the conversion rate. Now, if you are doing a coaching program or something like that, then you must be having maybe a landing page or something like that. So when people click to the link in your email, they go directly to your sales page or to your landing page. And after they go there, if your offer is good on the landing page, then they're going to convert. So the conversion rate tells you if the offer is good. So focus on the metrics that matches what you are testing. If it's subject lines, open rates. If it's the content of your email, the body, it's the click-through rate. If it's the conversion rate, you have to test what your offer, okay? And then you have to repeat what works every single time. Now, what a winning test looks like. So let's say you are selling a 997 coaching program, and then you send 1,000 people a split test on your subject line, just a subject line. Okay, so here's the numbers, what the numbers might look like, right? So version A, for 1,000 people, 20%, okay, of the list, which is 200 people, we're going to send them split test subject line A. This is email 1. And then the second version is 200 other people, right, who we are going to send the other subject line of the email, right? The email has to be the same, the subject line has to be different. Then after that, you're just going to check on the numbers, right? So you might get 18% open rate, and then you can get 12% click-through rate, and then you get one sell, which is 997, right? You got one sell. And then on the second email, you can get 34% of open rate, 41 click-through rate, and then 4 sales, which is that amount of money. Which one is the winner is the second one. So if the second one is the winner, we're going to take the second email and send to the rest of the list, right? Which is 600 people who are remaining. So 400 people we did the split test, and the 600 people who are remaining, we sent the winner email, which is the second email. We send it to them, and then we get more conversions, more sales, okay? So one subject line change, the same product, the same price, the same list, nearly 4x more revenue from a single test. That's the power of split testing. Now that all works, but here are the mistakes that you should avoid, okay? These mistakes will kill your test if you are not careful, okay? First thing is testing too many things at once. As I said before, you should not change the subject line, the content, and the sending time all at once, because you won't understand what made that version of the email win. So always go with one clear test. If it's the subject line, the content, the content. The second thing is having a list that's too small to test, okay? So if you only have a 200 subscribers on your list, okay, split test results can be unreliable. It can be unrealistic. So that does not mean that you should not test, okay? It just means look for bigger percentage differences to be more confident, right? So as your list grows, your test gets more accurate. The third thing is not waiting long enough for results. Now, most opens and clicks happen within the first 4 to 6 hours, but some people check their emails like once a day, okay? If it's in the morning, it's in the morning, okay? So give your test at least some 4 to 9 hours before calling a winner. The fourth thing is testing on special days or events. Now, here's the thing. If you run the split testing in a special day or event like Black Friday, it's Christmas, it's a holiday, your birthday or something like that, then your results are going to be skewed because people behave differently on this day. So test during normal days so that you can get clear data. So avoid testing on special days like Christmas and stuff like that. The fifth and the last thing is never looking at the data. Now, running the test is pointless if you do not actually read the results, write them down, take notes, and start using or taking action on them. Okay, the magic of split testing is the compounding knowledge that you build over time. Okay, so don't skip the test. Okay, that's all. If you found value from this video, hit the like button, subscribe. If you want this document, just let me know and then I will send it to you. Peace out.